watching WECT, First at 4.
Roughly 1 out of every 8 people in North Carolina have been diagnosed with some form of diabetes. But the disease doesn't just affect someone's pancreas, it can also damage your eyes. November is National Diabetic Eye Disease Awareness Month, and joining me now to talk about it is Dr. Rasika Whitesell. Dr. Whitesell, thank you so much for coming off. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you for having me.
So first off, I want to talk about what is diabetic eye disease?
Sure. All diabetics, of course, need proper sugar control because we know now it can affect our vision. Vision fluctuations can happen from the sugars not being well controlled, but also the main issue is it can cause bleeding in the back of the eye. That can cause vision loss, and that's our main issue, is what we worry about.
And it can be a scary situation for someone to learn that. So what are some of the symptoms that they can look out for before coming in and finding out that they have that?
Sure. I've definitely seen cases of patients, they didn't even know they were diabetic, but they come in because they're having fluctuating vision. Some days it's clearer than others. And I ask if they've had a blood work done recently with their primary care, and they say no. So I said, we need to get you in. And a lot of times they turn out to be diabetic.
And for those who are diabetic, how regularly do they need to come and see their eye doctor or come and see you to get their eyes checked?
Yes, the American Academy of Ophthalmology and Optometry do say once a year they need to come in to get a dilated eye exam. Even if your sugar levels are well controlled, your primary care should be sending you to your optometrist for a full eye exam.
And what are some of the ways that diabetics can pretty much control it and make sure that they don't lose their vision? Because that is scary.
It's very scary. The main thing is proper sugar control, keeping that sugar level stable, good A1C control, staying active and fit is very important, and also watching blood pressure and cholesterol can also affect it. Stopping smoking, if they are a smoker, is very key as well. And education. We have to educate the public, educate your family if you're diabetic on how important it is to get everything checked, including the eyes.
All great tips right there. Now, are there cures for someone who does come in and maybe they are starting to go down that direction where they are starting to lose eye vision? Is there a cure or something that you guys can do to help them out?
So, good question. So if they come in and I can see that they're already leading towards vision loss or have bleeding in the retina, we'll be sending you to a retina specialist. A retina specialist can sometimes laser the areas of bleeding to stop the vision loss from progressing, and sometimes they even need an injection in the eye.
And a lot of times people are scared to go to the eye doctor, even, have to face they might be losing vision. What are some tips, or what do you do with your patients when they come in to make them feel calm?
Sure. When a patient comes in to my practice at Port City Optometry, I'll take them back. I'll talk to them about how their sugar levels have been. The main thing is we will put some eye drops. There's no shots or anything at the office. We'll put some eye drops in to dilate the pupils to properly check the retina. We'll also take some retinal photos of the back of the eye, and I can actually explain to them if they do have bleeding where exactly it is happening. So, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for coming out. And like you said, it's definitely important for you to get those eye checks, whether you're a diabetic or not. But if you do have diabetes, definitely head out and get that yearly routine check. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.